This graph shows Vermont's population over the last 50 years. Now, it's looking pretty good from 1965 to 2005. Then from 2005 to 2015, it's... Oh my god, it's flatlining. Over the past few years, Vermont's population hasn't just become stagnant, it's actually started to decrease.
Huh, yeah dude. We all know the population should look like this.
Maybe that might be a little high, so I think more like this might be a little more manageable. But before we can get the graph to look like that, we need to figure out why it's declining in the first place. It's not because of the birth rate. There are actually 3 births per 2 deaths in Vermont. So the question we have to ask is, why are people leaving Vermont? It's a pun because we have trees. Benjamin Franklin once said, "In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes." We've already talked about death, so now let's talk about taxes. Oh, good old taxes. Compared to the rest of the United States, Vermont's pretty high up there with housing tax, prepared food tax. Don't forget about inheritance tax! Let's pause for a second. Only 1/3 of the states impose an inheritance tax, and Vermont's is one of the highest. Overall, Vermont has the 7th highest average tax in the nation, based on annual state and local taxes. When you add this to the availability and diversity of jobs, it becomes an even greater problem. I was talking about a different kind of jobs, but this does make sense because Vermont actually has the 7th lowest unemployment rate. What we're lacking is job diversity, specifically modern jobs and 21st century jobs like the ones that Mr. Jobs created. You can't make a claim like that without backing it up. So we surveyed over 400 students at Middlebury Union High School, asking them what they thought about this and population decline in general. The first question was, do you want to leave Vermont to live somewhere else? And 70% said yes. So not off to a great start. Second was, do you think that there are enough job opportunities in Vermont to allow you to pursue your dream career? And a little bit under 50% said no, which once again is really not great. A lot of the no's said they wanted to be engineers or something technology related, which confirms that we don't have enough modern day jobs in Vermont. We also asked, would you leave the state in order to find a job in this field? And only 13% of people said no. So everybody else would be fine with leaving Vermont to get a job. Now you're probably sitting there thinking, why is this a problem? So let's start off with the aging workforce. Vermont already has one of the oldest workforces in the United States, and they're only continuing to age. If they're aging and nobody's replacing them, that's not exactly a sustainable cycle. Vermont has plenty of local businesses, but as the workers, who are also the consumers, continue to age, there'll be fewer and fewer people to spend money, and those businesses will start to go out of business. And this doesn't just apply to privately owned businesses. Even schools can close down if there aren't enough kids to be taught in them. I already know of a couple schools that have 1 kid per grade. Right now, I really hope that you're asking, what can we do about this? First off, we want to thank the former governor of Vermont who helped us to answer this question, Jim Douglas. Mr. Douglas said to us, quote, "We need to make Vermont a more affordable place to live, work, and create jobs. We need to lower the tax burden and other costs of doing business. We need to build more housing that working families can afford. We need to provide more support to college students and our state-run institutions of higher learning. We need to further restrain the cost of healthcare by keeping people healthy. I've long believed that people will make rational decisions that are in their best interest. They'll live and work where it makes the most sense. We can wax nostalgic about our pastoral, safe, idyllic state, but if it's not affordable, they won't come or stay." Before we can do any of this, we have to make sure people know why it's important. So in our survey, we asked, were you aware of Vermont's decreasing population before taking this survey? And less than 30% of people said yes, so at least among high school students, it's definitely not common knowledge. We also asked, do you think this is a major problem for Vermont? And about 60% of students said no. We're hoping that after this video, about 60% change their minds. So what do we want? We want you to help spread the word and move to Vermont.